Welcome to Fiery Discourse, your podcast or media featuring dragonesses, female dinosaurs, and other similar stories and scalies. I'm your host, Ludmillanon, and with me are my co-hosts, Angron, Mathmachine, the Shark, Jordan, and Stryker. Today is our 95th episode, and we're discussing the 2021 Transformers Rescue Bots Academy episode, The Tracker. So, let's get things started.
Earth needed help and it answered the call. No rescue too big, no hero too small. Recruits come to learn from the best of the best. They'll be rescue bots too if they pass the test. Rescue Bots Academy. Roll the rescue, save the day for you and me. Roll the rescue and Hotshot, Whirl, Hoyt, Medics, and Wedge. Their teamwork together will give them the edge. Rescue Bots Academy. Roll the rescue, roll out. As much as I love the first opening of that one honestly is a little more catchy to me.
That was definitely not the Transformers theme song I thought we were going to start this one with, but...
More than meets the eye.
Yep, I thought it was going to be that one, but... but yeah, Transformers in general is pretty much everyone knows what it is, of course, but it's interesting how it's one of those many 80s properties that just never went away. Like that, My Little Pony, Ninja Turtles, they're all basically franchises from the 80s that have stuck around in pop culture basically for the better part of 20 plus years or so, 30 almost 40 plus years now, and it's kind of amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, in fact, as of this year, it has already been Transformers 40th anniversary.
Yep, and it also got like the awesome movie Transformers 1, which definitely, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It is amazing.
Yes. Oh, man.
Yep, but what's interesting about this one is that this is technically a spin-off of a spin-off, because Transformers got a preschool show called Transformers Rescue Bots. It actually proved to be pretty well made for what it was, and despite not having any giant robot fighting, it actually manages to have the spirit of Transformers in it, and believe it or not, it's actually set in the same universe as Transformers Prime. Which you would not expect, again, for a preschool show of that type, but according to the showrunners, it is set in the exact same universe.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Shark.
Yeah, so while this typical educational show stuff is happening with the characters of the show, Optimus and Megatron are probably beating each other up somewhere else.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, but it's like Megatron shows up and he's like, I am here to teach you about recycling. And then he immediately goes back to Cybertron and starts wailing on Megatron again.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Man.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yep. And the show is actually worked on by DHX, who also worked on many Hasbro shows, most famously Friendship is Magic. Yep. And Rescue Bots actually got a sequel series because it was so popular, Transformers Rescue Bots Academy, which is what we are talking about today. And one interesting thing to note, this and the original Transformers Rescue Bots are actually the longest running Transformers shows that have ever existed so far.
Even more so than G1.
Yeah.
Also math?
Yeah, it's really weird to me as a guy that's grown up with Transformers his entire life to see a Transformers preschool show.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Still fitting, though.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad, just odd.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's not as off-putting as, say, the Star Wars preschool show, which was definitely a thing, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely way better than that.
Oh, gosh. I'm now imagining that Palpatine saying, do it, and it's just like one Jedi kid running out like, I do it. That will never happen.
Nice. Matt, you were saying?
Oh yeah, this is better than the Star Wars preschool show or the Disney Princess preschool show, because this is in 2D, so it just looks better by default.
Yep.
Always will.
Yeah, and also I think what also helps with it is that it feels more like Transformers than, like, say, the Star Wars show felt like Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
But we're going to talk about this episode for today, the Tracker, and the show itself begins with a theme song, which Angron gave us a lovely rendition of. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, interesting fact about that, by the way. All 5 of the Rescue Bots recruits are based off of real pre-existing robots. Hotshot is based off of Hotshot from the Unicron trilogy. Whirl is based off of G1, which we'll get to in a bit. Hoist is based off of G1, who was notoriously paired with Grapple from the same universe. Wedge is based off of Wedge from Robots in Disguise 2001 as part of the Builder team, which formed Landfill, a combiner unit. And Medics, funnily enough, is an extra for the Protectobots that formed Menasor, which is very bizarre, but it counts.
There's
Huh.
something,
That's okay.
something that I noticed in the intro that kinda took me away is that at one point you see a blue and red robot that I'm not 100% sure it's supposed to be Optimus Prime, but if it is, boy, did it give him a giant chin.
Yeah, they gave him a giant chin. Not the Crimson Chin, mind you, but yeah.
Yep.
Chin.
Fucking giant chin.
Kind of looking like Bruce Campbell there. It's just-
Yeah.
If only he voiced Optimus Prime, that would be epic.
That would be crazy.
No.
Just-
The crimson chin here.
Nice.
Yep.
Anyway, Matt, you were saying?
After Angron's very detailed explanation of who all these characters are, I feel the need to balance the universe by just going, nerds!
Hey, don't diss. I am basically the Teletran of this group. I will name any
Hey,
of all
I've done the same
Transformers.
thing in other shows.
All good,
I
all
do
good.
not care.
Nice. But the episode itself begins with newscaster Huxley Prescott reporting from the Amazon rainforest. And right off the bat, we're off to a good start because he's voiced by Jeff Bennett. And his hair kind of looks a little bit like a Johnny Bravo in a way. So,
Actually, no, he is not voiced by Jeff Bennett. I checked the credits, and he is not voiced by Jeff Bennett.
ooh, I thought it was. I said so on the Transformers wiki. Guess I got to update that. Huh.
Yeah, they really gotta do.
Kind of a shame there. But anyway, he says that he's going to make a major discovery there in the rainforest before the tape suddenly cuts off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We cut to Whirl, one of the smaller rescue bots, excuse me, and Chase, a police car transformer, talk about how after that broadcast Huxley went missing. Whirl, to me, with this design, she reminds me a bit more of like a chibi robot than like an actual transformer. With that being said, she looks absolutely adorable, and I definitely can see why she would be like the kid favorite character because, yeah, this is probably one of the cutest Transformers I've seen.
Yeah, she kind of looks to me like an offshoot of Gyroman.exe, but also reminds me a bit of Astro Boy a little bit. I mean, she works here within the universe's design and overall feel, but yeah, I can understand what you mean by that.
Oh, definitely. And you took the words right out of my mouth. I actually was going to say, believe it or not, this reminds me of Astro Boy, but you took the words right out of my mouth there. Yep. But what happens next is that basically Chase shows Whirl the exact coordinates of where Huxley disappeared as she vows to find him. We get to Hoist, who, as Angron previously mentioned, is one of the Dinobots, lifting weights while being spotted by none other than Grimlock.
Yep. Grimlock.
And with that, I only have one thing to say. Me Grimlock no fitness trainer! Me Grimlock king!
Puny Dinobot need more protein powder. Or beryllium bologna. And then it's cesium salami. Then fricking Slag in the background is like, no beryllium bologna. No cesium salami.
Nice. Matt?
Now, this is where me being an old man really kind of threw a wrench in this, because seeing Grimlock actually speak articulately was just wild, man.
Yeah, it definitely is strange, especially if you only really know him from the G1 cartoons. Seeing him as like an articulate, professor type is definitely a bit of a change there.
Yeah, to be fair, this also takes place in the Robots in Disguise 2015 universe as well, which is basically an offshoot of the Prime universe. So, expecting them to be too faithful to the G1 continuity is, I mean, there are moments where they do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did their own thing for the most part.
Yep. No, I definitely see where you're coming from there. But what happens is Hoist is having trouble lifting the weights as Grimlock decides to help him out with his tail. Whirl shows up and asks what they're doing. Obviously, what should have happened is Grimlock shouldn't have responded to her because she did not do the universal greeting.
Ba wait, brana wait, nanny bong.
Yep, exactly.
I'm sure we're probably pissing off an entire alien race with that phrase, but I digress.
Well, we better watch out for the drunky outside. But anyway, Grimlock basically teaches her what a spotter is and how it's better to work with somebody than work alone. Whirl then talks about her mission and asks Grimlock if he can help her out on the mission as a tracker. In a weird moment, Grimlock says, oh, I am pretty fly, which I have to agree with Math. Definitely feels out of place for Grimlock, the character, at least how he was in G1,
I mean, honestly, him sounding that radical is somewhat in character because Grimlock, as you know, is a radical dino bot.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
It's radical. Radical.
Grimlock, radical! Watch me shred pipe! Just chews up
Grimlock's
the
one of those. Yep. Grimlock is one of those hip old dinosaur robots in a soda commercial.
Interesting fact. He kind of sounds a little bit like Master Yo in a weird way. I don't know if he's actually voiced by him, but that's the same vibe I get.
Believe it or not, from what I looked up with his voice actor, he really hasn't done that much voice acting. This is really one of his more predominant roles is this show. So kind of interesting. Yep. But what happens is he then tells Whirl that he's busy helping out Hoist, who falls off the weightlifting bench. He says that Grimlock says that he knows an excellent tracker who can help, and that he'll have them meet her. We cut to the Amazon rainforest where Whirl arrives to report and looks around, not seeing any signs of Grimlock's friend. It's here where we get the first of several cute little nods to Jurassic Park. At least I think they're intentional little nods, with the Dinobot being hidden in the grass, and she leaps out. Pretty much, there's kind of a bigger reference later on, but it is kind of cute how they do this. But Whirl, of course, begins to walk off before a female Dinobot leaps out and surprises her. Oh, go ahead, Math. Angron, rather.
Oh man, yeah, this moment right here definitely is proof of that. And all I could think of when seeing Slash when she appeared is clever girl, which she actually is. Which we'll get to that moment in a little later.
Yep, we definitely will. But like I say, there is a bigger Jurassic Park reference, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But basically, the Dinobot, who is named Slash, is our titular tracker of the episode. Contrary to popular belief, she is actually the second female Dinobot. The first Dinobot is called Straff, and she was in the IDW comics, and we'll get to that in the future. Don't worry about that. But she's the first female Dinobot in visual media, let us say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right off the bat, we have easily one of my favorite things about her, the Southern accent. Like, it's one thing to have her basically talk dumbed down like the other Dinobots, but giving her a little more personality compared to the others, it works here. It's what I liked about Fall of Cybertron and the Dinobots there, but here it's honestly like leaps and bounds compared to that personally.
Oh, definitely. I definitely think, like I say, it really gives her a touch of uniqueness that it actually does fit. You wouldn't think that a Southern accent with a dinosaur robot would work, but it actually does work really, really well with her. And I'm actually surprised, basically how well it actually clicked. And unfortunately, she is not voiced by Ashley Ball, but hey, can't have everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Math.
Yeah. Me, again, because I come from the original Transformers and have seen so many iterations of them, it feels a little bit weird hearing like Whirl just have a regular kid voice or Slash just having a regular Southern accent. Again, not that it's bad, just that it's odd.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but honestly, I see Slash and all I can think is Irma Eoraptor from Dinosaur Train. Like, they're both raptors. They both have freaking Southern accents. What's not to love, in my opinion?
Shark. Nice.
Shark,
you were saying?
Sorry. Also, her personality is certainly, well, not unique, but it's a really fun one because I will say she's basically what would happen if Kazooie was a dinosaur.
That is a very good point. She very much does kind of have like a Kazooie vibe to her,
No wonder I liked her.
Yeah, less brutal, thankfully, and more willing, as it were. So, props.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. But like I say, I also like her color scheme with the yellow and grays on her, and with the like reddish and highlights. They look really good on her. Like I say, It definitely feels like her design was done in an almost deliberate way, and it comes out really good.
Yep, absolutely.
But Slash laughs about how she scared Whirl, as the latter is somewhat annoyed for her doing that. Slash then introduces herself to Whirl and asks what she needs to do. Whirl shows Slash the footage of the news reporter, as Slash says she can easily find the human. I do like this really nice touch of her running like an actual dinosaur, despite, basically being a robot in that. They could have had her, grow wheels and, glide along something, but no, I give him credit where credit is due. That is a really nice little touch there.
Yeah, honestly, if Blue were a dinosaur, this would be the closest thing to that, personally.
Definitely, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, what happens is, I do like how also she uses her nose to sniff out where the reporter was, and again, I really feel like this gets Transformers more than Star Wars Young Jedi Adventure got Star Wars in a way,
Absolutely. When they get Transformers right, they get Transformers right.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
Yep. But Slash runs off with Whirl being unable to find her. As Whirl tries to catch up to her, she approaches a clearing, only to find that it's a giant plant formation that looks like Slash. And it's here we get the Jurassic Park reference that really got a laugh out of me, because Slash appears from the side in a manner almost identical to how Muldoon was killed by the raptor. It is almost a shot for shot. It definitely was an intentional reference here, and that actually got a good laugh out of me.
Yeah, I see this, and all I could think of was clever girl. And also that one scene that Math is going to reference in a moment. Math.
Go ahead.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, all I could think was, Alan.
Yeah. Alan.
Alan.
If only she was in Jurassic Park 3, that
Yes.
would have made that movie a little better.
Nostalgia
No
critic's
argument.
favorite joke, quote unquote.
Yeah. But usually, of course, we like to put SpongeBob references in our episodes. The Transformers wiki actually beat us to it, because the caption of the episode is a screenshot of that screen with the caption, "You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward?"
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
yeah,
can actually see it.
yep, the TF wiki has pretty much beat us to the punch there. But in a really interesting twist, Slash actually tackles Whirl here, leaving the blue robot basically standing on a branch that's about to break. And it's here we get Slash's personality here, because she's very much like Sir Oliver from the Sophia the Firstling, except she's not she's not as annoying or as, relentless with it, which thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
She arrogantly says that she doesn't need anyone as she works alone, which breaks the branch and causes Whirl to fall.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chuck.
And this being a pre-educational show, I think you know where the moral is going.
Yep. Better
Yep.
together than apart.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it's no Bluey personally, but honestly, I like the morals that are presented here. They show it in a clever way, but in a way that's still fun and honestly engaging.
Yeah, like I say, they kind of telegraph the message, especially with Grimlock earlier on, basically beating into your head. But it's a way that's a little more subtle than some other shows, so you gotta let it slide.
Yeah,
depends on the territory.
Math.
In some ways it is subtle, but in some other ways it kind of reminds me of Weird Al's Spider-Man parody song. If you missed it, don't worry, they'll say the line again and again and again.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, it's like that one mini boss from Twilight Princess, the Dark Nut. It's simple, but it's still very much fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. But what happens is Whirl says they should help each other, as Slash says she's a lone wolf. Funny, I thought she was a Dinobot, haha, and runs off. Whirl retorts that it is her mission too, as she runs off to follow Slash. Slash keeps following the trail of the scent, as Whirl has trouble keeping up at first. Slash then runs past a series of rocks in the water. Unfortunately, it is not Stephen Magnet from Friendship is Magic, though if it was, that'd be great. And she thinks that she lost Whirl, and in a pretty cool move, Whirl actually uses her helicopter blades to just fly over the lake, with Slash being impressed by it.
Indeed.
Go ahead, Math.
Yeah, I can give you my exact thoughts when the scene happened. The entire time that Whirl was running after Slash, I was like, you transform her into a copter, that'd be easier to chase her. Then Slash crosses over the river, and then 5 seconds later, Whirl transforms into her copter and flies over the river. And I was like, okay, put me in my place, show. Well done.
Yeah. Also,
Definitely.
an interesting thing about Slash, I will say this. You never see her bot form in this, which, yeah, more power to it. It's very great that we see Slash as a full-on Dinobot, but it's kind of weird that we don't see her bot form, as it were. Not even once, as it were. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, like, I don't mind that, but it's a little, like, that's honestly the off thing about this whole episode that kind of drives me a little insane.
Yep.
It's like freaking seeing it's like seeing Maleficent for most of the movie via dragon, and not once seeing her human form, in spite of them saying she initially looked human.
Yep, exactly. But like I said, my thing too with that is that's interesting is it is she does appear in one other episode, but I don't know if she becomes her Autobot form in that. I haven't seen that. Or it is definitely weird, like you were saying though.
Yeah, we can check that later, but for now,
Sorry about that. But
All
yeah,
good.
what happens next, of course, is that Slash then climbs up a series of rocks and finds a small tatter on the ground, knowing that the reporter is nearby as Whirl tries to keep up but pants from exhaustion. Slash begins to follow the trail before falling off the cliff and lands in a sinkhole. Whirl arrives and says that she can keep up, then wonders if Slash is hiding on her again. After hearing no response, she ends up transforming to a search mode, and in a neat touch, I do like 2 elements of this. Number one is that her design changes slightly here with like a magnified eye and such, and it is definitely a neat little change. They didn't have to do it, but I'm glad they did. And number two, we actually get to see Cybertronian writing on the basically in her little viewfinder as she looks for Slash. And again, they didn't have to do that, but the fact they did, it shows that they actually did care about Transformers, or at least Transformers lore.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Angron.
Very much so. This moment right here was pretty amazing. Like, I've seen the Power Up and Energize form many times in Transformers Rescue Bots and Rescue Bots Academy, but seeing something like this right here be a little more like developed and more unique to the characters themselves, I'm for that. I'm absolutely for that. Props, Rescue Bots Academy. Props.
Yep, definitely. Like I said, they definitely took their time to actually, get it within the universe. They actually made it felt like it was a part of it. And again, it's always good they did that. But what happens is Whirl also falls off the cliff and lands in the sinkhole, finding herself in a mysterious temple. I do like the design of the temple. Like, they could have easily just made this like generic, gray or brown walls and that, but they actually did like carvings on the wall and different patterns and paintings and that. And it shows again, whoever the background designers were for this show, they put effort in where you didn't really have to,
Yeah, that is world building at some of its finest right there.
Easily. Matt, you were saying?
What I liked from that was when Whirl fell in, Slash said, you didn't see the quicksand either. Whirl says, no, I saw it. I just slipped in. And Slash said, whatever helps you. And just that sassy way that she said it. It was a very nice character moment. Gave her a lot of personality just in
She
that.
has a lot of
easily.
personality in this episode. I will absolutely stand by that. Like, we need more of this person, please, Hasbro.
Oh, easily. Like I said, and apparently she shows up in one episode, and apparently she even shows up in the finale again, which is very interesting.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
That is very
Definitely.
nice.
Definitely would be interesting. But what happens next in this episode is that basically Slash sniffs around the room and finds the reporter's camera, reasoning that he was in the temple as well. Slash and Whirl find out that they can't get out the way they came in because the fact that it's too high up and the entrance is too narrow. Slash then smells something else since he finds that there's canals filled with oil in the temple. The Dinobot gets an idea and lights up the oil, which illuminates the room. And a moment that always reminded me a little bit of the movie National Treasure. When they light up the big treasure room at the ending, it kind of reminds me of that. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I definitely can see it.
I can see it. I remember now. Yeah.
Yep. But we finally see Huxley stuck on the arms of a gigantic statue as Slash basically runs off to save him. She ends up stepping on a series of patterned stones in the floor that raise up when she walks on them. So now I guess we're just ripping off Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Idiot! In Latin, Jehovah begins with an I! Had to mention
It
that.
also reminds me of that one scene from UHF where it's like Weird Al is freaking Indy with a guy. He's like, "Look!" and just shows a freaking card face that's giving like the crazy tongue face. Is an omen to all who enters. You must turn back now.
As for me, all I could think was the El Macho layer scene in Despicable Me too.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. Matt, you were saying?
So, if in Indiana Jones they had to go with the old way of saying Jesus for the puzzle, what do they have to go with? The old way of saying Transformer here? Robot?
I mean, Primus is a fairly close thing to a religious swear, so that's something.
Oh my
Maybe
goodness.
Spark.
Right. But
Scrappy,
the Dinobot. Great. But the Dinobot tries to run out, but she accidentally gets herself stuck in a maze. Then a statue captures her as well. So that means this is the most unnecessary security system in a temple since the one from Mario Wonder.
Huh.
Unfortunately, there were no talking flowers here to help her out. If there were, that would make this show an easy 10 out of 10, but can't have everything.
I wonder what Dinobot tastes like.
He absolutely would say that. Shark?
Yeah, too bad they didn't have the drill power up, so they could skip the whole section.
That's
Because you
true,
can
that's true.
skip the whole Wonder section with that power.
Huh. That is neat. I did not know that. But what happens is the temple starts to crumble as Whirl looks at the drawings on the wall, indicating that the room is based on weight and balances and uses their search mode. And I do like that it actually has kind of a secondary lesson here that, it teaches children how basically weights and balances work without basically hammering it in your head. It's kind of like a more subtle secondary lesson in the main one about, basically needing other people to be around you to help out in that.
Very clever, Hasbro. Very clever.
Yep, very, very clever. But Whirl basically explains that Slash running across the floor randomly caused the patterns to rise. I do like how Slash basically looks annoyed at this, thinking that Whirl is going to abandon her because that's what Slash would have done, that she never would have considered that someone else would have basically stopped and helped her in that. Again, I do like how, again, for an 11-minute episode, and considering this is an 11-minute short, that they actually give her a lot of character development.
Absolutely. Like, this development was worth.
Easily. But what happens is basically Whirl explains the mistake Slash made, as Slash realized that anyone else could have made that mistake as well. And of course, Slash then learns the importance of having others to help you out, which is the main lesson of the episode. And like I said, I think it would have worked a little better if we didn't have the whole Grimlock sequence at the beginning of it, because it kind of just telegraphed it, which, again, we're not the target audience for this, so,
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like, there's telling it, but there's also putting it into practice, which this show does a pretty good job of doing both pretty well. I mean, yeah, it's a little on the nose, but again, it's like Dark Knight. It's telegraphed, but it's still fun for it.
Oh, easily. And like I said, basically, both Slash and Huxley are let out of their statues with Whirl running up to save the human. And one thing I do like is the size difference between the humans and even a smaller Transformer like Whirl. That's a fun touch because, when you see Whirl, you think of her maybe as the size of like a person, but then you see her compared to like this news reporter, and it's like, whoa, wait a second, They're still giant robots, even if they're a smaller version of a giant robot. Go ahead, Shark.
Yeah, that moment took me a bit by surprise that because she's a small robot and because they haven't interacted with any other living being in the whole episode, you kind of forget that they're supposed to be Transformers, big robots. So when they finally interact with the guy, it's like, oh yeah, they're supposed to be big.
Yeah, that's honestly kind of the weird thing about this show. Like, the size difference between the recruits and the humans. Like, they're not minicon size, if you know, but they're not exactly full-on Cybertronian size, which is a little weird. I get why, but yeah, it's something that's kind of bizarre to me. Like, that and the freaking other thing that I said earlier are what kind of make it a little weird. Like, Slash not transforming into her bot mode in this episode, or and that.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. But yeah, basically what happens then is the tower begins caving in as the pair needs a way to get out. Whirl sees a hole in the ceiling and gets an idea, transforming into a helicopter form and airlifting both Slash and Huxley out of there. And this makes the second week in a row we have discussed about something with a temple in a jungle that collapses at the end.
Wah!
Yep. Obviously, Wario is the one behind it all.
Probably.
Yep.
That, or he probably was busy doing micro games at the time. Shark?
Yeah. Hopefully he wasn't inside the temple. Otherwise, we got another Wario dies video on the wall.
Well, it'd be
Oh,
worth it.
gosh.
It'd be worth it just to hear, "Oh my God! Wow!" How to do that?
Exactly.
Matt, you were saying?
When World transformed into her copter and was speaking while in that form, I appreciated that they actually tried to distort her voice a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive.
Yeah, that was a very nice touch. And again, it's something that they didn't have to do, but the fact that they did makes you appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Mhm.
So basically, once out there, Huxley basically comes to, and he thanks both of them for rescuing him. Slash then realizes that she needs a partner to help her out in moments like that, as Huxley realizes that he lost his camera. Whirl tells him that he can always return to get more footage, but to bring a camera operator next time to help him. And that's also something to bring up, is that at the beginning, the news reporter's camera, it's like a floating drone kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, feels that way.
Yeah.
Also, that reminds me, there was a toucan at one of the camera shots, which reminds me of all those videos where like an animal gets on the camera and startles the news anchors, and also those videos of people doing interviews with like cats in their place. It's hilarious.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yep. But the episode itself ends with both Whirl and Slash laughing as they're all safe and sound. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. It wasn't very long when it was 11 minutes, whereas the original Transformers Rescue Bots were 22-minute long episodes. And what's interesting is, again, this show is actually pretty good. It really isn't that bad compared to the other stuff we've had to watch recently of like the preschool variety. This is actually really good. I enjoyed this. I legitimately said I enjoyed this, you know?
Yeah, this is definitely up there with stuff like Lion Guard, Bluey for the most part, and the original Rescue Bots. But yeah, this definitely it's not as in depth as Bluey or Arthur even. Also Dragon Tales, but it's definitely a step up from something like Sophia the First. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
Math?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Math.
Matt, you were saying?
I am the old hat Transformers fan, so this show surprisingly won me over. If this is a prime example of how this show works, it laid the message on really, really thick, and I can excuse that because it's a preschool show. That's kind of the norm for that. But otherwise, this was surprisingly good, and I think just any Transformers fan in general would like this show.
Absolutely.
Yep. Like I say, Optimus does show up, and apparently Laserbeak shows up, and they're made into a good guy, which is really interesting.
Dang, Soundwave must have turned a new leaf, which props. More Soundwave means more greatness.
Yep. But yeah, like I say, this definitely kind of reminds me of Friendship is Magic in the way that it's a concept that shouldn't work. By all intents and purposes, a preschool Transformers show should not work, and yet it actually does. And again, I give them all the props in the world. Like, this and Rescue Bots were the two longest Transformers series. It must have been popular to get that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so.
But
Exactly.
now just... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying exactly.
Yeah, good. Yep. But now it's time for the question of the week, which is, what is your favorite Transformers moments/memories? Now, with me, this is kind of interesting because Transformers was never really a big thing when I was a kid in that. I think I grew up in like that, the area where it wasn't as huge as it was, you know, back in like the 80s. It wasn't like the revival in the 2000s. So it was kind of that weird sweet zone. The one thing I do remember is the 84 movie. We had that on VHS, and that movie is just like mind-blowing to a little kid to see something like that, you know? Especially, and again, I guess as a kid, since I wasn't really familiar with the characters, I was like sad when Optimus died, but it wasn't like, you know, oh, is over kind of thing. Again, probably because I didn't grow up with like the original show and that. But for the 84 movie, it looks fantastic. It actually is pretty well written, great voice cast. I mean, Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron is just amazing. And Judd Nelson does a pretty good job as Hot Rod as well. And yeah, and of course you have the Junkions, and any movie that has a Weird Al Yankovic song just play randomly in the middle of it, it's a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm also really glad to see Transformers 1 turn out way better than anyone would have ever expected. I think if you had told somebody like 5 years earlier that a Transformers animated movie was going to be one of the best movies of the year, they would have thought you were crazy,
Take that, Michael Bay.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. But I just like about Transformers 1 is how like tragic it is. It's almost like on the verge of like Revenge of the Sith level tragedy as we see, Optimus's best friend become Megatron,
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, and it has some really dark moments too. Again, I feel like Transformers 1 is going to be this generation's version of a Transformers 84, in that it wasn't a really big hit on release, but it is going to stick. It is going to stick in the minds of the kids in that. This movie, like the original Transformers, the movie, is going to be eternal,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
But yeah,
for the most part, eternal, but yeah, I agree. It is definitely going to leave quite the impact.
definitely. But yeah, unfortunately, like I say, I never had the toys. I never watched any of the other TV shows again, because I think I grew up in the area where it just wasn't as big as it once was, or as it was going to become, and I just never got into it. But I definitely would not mind watching more Transformers series, and any of you guys have any recommendations, I'm more than happy to hear it.
Absolutely. I got a few recommendations, which leads to my thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say the 87 movie as well. Like, seriously, that was my childhood. I watched that a lot. Like, I every moment I could, I 100% watched it. Like, seriously, this is easily up there as one of, if not my favorite movie of all time, animated or otherwise. But yeah, that wasn't just a part of my childhood, because other things would come along and definitely help mold me into the Transformers fanboy that I know and love. One of those was Transformers Robots in Disguise 2001 Optimus Prime. I played with that a lot when I was a kid. I still own it, in fact. And that leads into the other things that I 100% enjoy, the anime. Like, I know that the G1 show started off as an anime in Japan by Toei, of all people, who also made Voltron, fun fact. But I 100% was on board with those. I watched the animes whenever I could when it was on Cartoon Network. But yeah, Robots in Disguise 2001, watching that at the tail end of my high school years, that definitely was something to look forward to, I will admit. So yeah, it's gonna be another thing, Fall of Cybertron. So many things I could say about that. Bruticus is awesome. The designs are amazing. They're all Cybertronian. But yeah, overall, I am also going to say the 87 movie as like the peak pinnacle of my Transformers memories.
I definitely can see why. Again, because I feel it's a movie that really just impacted so many people, especially, again, we got to figure when it was made as well. It was like the one time period where a movie like that could get released. And again, the effects of it were crazy. Like, Hasbro had no idea that kids would be like sending letters and openly sobbing about like Optimus and that. It is crazy.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
Like we will never get a moment like that again, I think, because of this.
Yeah, I'll bet. I mean, technically we got that with Revenge of the Fallen, but the less said about that, the better.
All good. So let's see, Math. What would your favorite Transformers moments be?
Once again, showing my age here. This is a series that I grew up with in real time, and I think I might be the only one that even remembers this damn thing. The Beast Wars animated series.
I know about that too. I didn't watch it, but I know about it.
Same.
Yep, I've heard about them as well.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Yeah, this is from '96, from the same studio that made Reboot. And if you look at,
Sorry, I grew up watching the same thing for Beast Wars as well. Loved the hell of it because the animation was like there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see them transformed and speaking, the faces look like they belong in a Reboot series, so you can tell it's the same studio, and it keeps their writing ability in
Yeah.
it. The stories are great, the characters are great, everything about it is it's that cheesy
Yeah.
good, not like classic. Oh, I'm going to be dramatic and have high art stories. Good, one of those janky fun time
Yeah, I
shows.
feel that.
Definitely. But yeah,
I
that
will say this: I've seen a few episodes. I like Dinobot, and also I loved when they appeared in freaking Rise of the Beasts. But then Beast Machines came around, and I mean, it's still the same cheese, but I don't know if I'd be too willing to go back and watch those again. That's just me, though.
Yeah, the sequel series wasn't that good,
Ooh.
unfortunately.
game. Oh, it stinks when that happens, especially something as good as the original, you know. But no, that's a
Indeed.
really good choice right there. Let's see, Stryker, what would your favorite Transformers moment be?
For me, it comes from the first ever Transformers show I ever watched. Transformers Armada, actually.
Nice. Has the
It
same voice.
is. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, it has the same voice actor as Eddie in that, which was definitely a surprise. Also, best combiner, which I still own to this day. Perceptor.
Nice. Stryker, you were saying?
But yeah, I grew up with Armada. It was the first ever Transformers series I ever watched, and like just as a kid, I thought it was cool. Like giant, as like a giant robots like protecting humanity. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then plus,
Shame
like,
G1
oh yeah, sorry.
a shame G1 came first, but yeah, both definitely keep the same roots.
Yeah, I just I grew up. I grew up in the 2000s, so like
Same.
Nice.
and I was also born the same year as when Beastars. I mean, no, Beast Wars. Why did I say Beastars?
Beastars.
Sorry. I was born the same year that Beast Wars premiered.
Interesting.
Neat.
Yeah. But yeah, the one thing that I remember the most was what stuck with me the longest. Sideways' betrayal. Because like
Anime
that's
betrayal.
yeah, it stuck with me the longest because like you find out he was always a Decepticon.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was a spy for the Decepticons, working
Ooh,
with the
wow.
Autobots.
Wow. Like I say, it's really fascinating too when that happens, you know?
I actually owned Sideways, I think, for a while before stuff happened, and yeah. I think
Hashtag spoilers for a nearly 30-year-old
Yeah,
show.
exactly.
I also I still own his mini cons, oddly enough.
Yeah, like I still think like that the Armada is still one of the most fascinating parts of Transformers, and I will always say it was one of my favorites. Unfortunately, afterward came Energon.
Oh.
Energon is literally the same exact plot 3 times.
And then there's Cybertron, which has Nicole Oliver, aka Zubea, as one of the Autobots.
Yep. And of course, Princess Celestia as well. So more
Yes.
Hasbro stuff.
And like the one thing that puzzled me about Energon was fucking like Ironhide was the recruit.
Interesting. I mean, then again, we also got Rodimus basically hitting puberty way earlier than Hot Rod did in freaking Transformers G1 movie. But yeah.
But yeah, that's my pick. The Sideways' betrayal when he betrayed a hot shot.
Dang.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely can see that because wow. But that's a good one. Let's see. Shark, what would your favorite Transformers moments or memories be?
Well, I am also in a case where Transformers wasn't really a big thing for me through most of my life, honestly. I didn't watch the shows, I didn't have any toys, and it won't it will really take a while until I see like something that I said, oh yeah, this Transformer thing is cool, and that will actually be Transformers 1 of all things. It will take until this year for me to really find something Transformer related that I really, really enjoy.
Mm.
Huh.
So yeah, Transformers 1, it's a great movie, it's a great story. It looks really well.
Yeah.
Well, yep, everything that's been said, so short
Yeah.
answer, but it's that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
Stryker definitely should get around to seeing that at some point.
Yeah,
Hell
I
yeah, it
definitely would be a
should.
good idea. But like I say, I feel like again, with Transformers One, just to talk about it for a second, I feel like what it works so good with it is it's a prequel that feels necessary. It's almost like the exact same thing as again the Star Wars prequels, which in my opinion get way too much hate, or got way too much hate in my opinion. Now they're finally turning around, but again, it feels like that in that it's a story that is needed. You know?
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep, it
Yeah,
definitely works out.
very much so.
Yep. And let's see, Jordan, what would your favorite Transformers moments or memories be?
Being in the 90s, I didn't watch the OG Transformers. I tried so many times over this any years to watch it, but I'm like, I don't like how it moved so fast for Hotshot getting to be the Prime. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. There are some hidden things going on here. I don't know what the hell's going on. This ain't my cup of tea. So I went on to other Transformers over the years. The one that got me mostly was the Beast Wars because the voice actors were the best that I love of the series, and then more on the Energon series. There are so many that I cannot keep track, but the Transformers Prime got me the most after seeing that huge thing of Bumblebee getting his revenge on Megatron, who stole his voice box and everything else of that. I was like, holy fuck!
Dang.
I mean, seriously, I'm a B fan. I love how B always had a huge mystery. Like, OG version, he was a hot kid who was a scout. Over the years, he's like became like silent because again, he lost his voice box and everything. And now to the point of Prime, we see how he lost the voice box way in that version. And we see how he suffers, like he can't speak. He's got to talk through a buzzing sound like a radio. And the point where he gets his revenge after he died, he comes back and you hear him say Megatron from that point. You're like, wait a minute, who says that? And you see Bumblebee holding that sword in his hand and getting his revenge, saying, you stole my voice. I will never let you do it ever again. You hear how he is so pissed. And just seeing Megatron's body just dies. It's just like, holy hell. Everyone who knows that episode knows it.
I do not, but I've seen Optimus Prime in the Bayformer universe do some pretty intense stuff whenever he's either pissed or serious. Hearing that though, yikes! And here I thought Optimus could be freaking brutal.
I mean, yeah, because how they made in Prime for Megatron is just like, okay, he's power hungry, crazy in this generation of himself. Other versions, he was more like he wanted power, he wanted justice for the Decepticon, for those who, like, okay, yeah, bending, you follow the rules all your life. In Transformers 1, that leads up to this point, what I'm saying, that you follow a certain character or a role model all your entire life. And you see how it betrays you. The one person you looked up to all your life betrays that. you want revenge on that. I get it through Megatron's point of view, but the way he done it is just not right. So that's where I can see with Transformers 1 between Optimus and Megatron, their whole friendship is destroyed because of one thing that got in their way was leadership and all that. And Megatron didn't see that. He saw it through his own dark way for, again, his whole life was destroyed because of a thing that happened in that time. And Optimus saw it in the good, positive way. Yes, you gotta be reckless, but you gotta balance and all that. And Optimus does that. Megatron just like goes full force and just pummels any way to get what he wants. So it's kind of sucks how that is, but I love how it all goes down for Megatron became how he became. Same with Optimus Prime. Same way. It's just different ways of how good and bad can be.
Indeed.
That is a very
Also-
good thing. I
Yeah,
do
also
not think I'm
Math-
putting it there. I'm sorry. go
Yeah.
ahead.
Also, Math literally said that Bumblebee's voice was Will Friedle, which
Yep.
wow,
Really?
wow,
Yep.
Wow, that
Will
that is-
Friedle, who did an old Disney live comedy show, he played Bumblebee up to this point. And yes, again, when you watch the clip, for those who have not seen it, I recommend watching it, the video for the whole thing, and just seeing how like, holy hell, this actually happened. You hear Bumblebee speak, and it's this awesome guy who done the Batman Beyond TV series.
and Kim Possible,
And
also
Kim
Vox
Possible, yes,
Machina.
who plays the crazy sidekick for Kim. He's done a whole lot, and he brought emotion bringing Bee's voice after just seeing the revenge that he got. So I recommend, for those who have not seen it, I recommend go watch it because it'll make you cry. It'll be like, holy hell moments.
Yes, very much
Definitely,
so.
definitely. And one of the things to point out with the Michael Bay movies is that the first one I thought wasn't too bad. I feel like if they had just stopped with the first one, I think it probably would be more well respected. But after something like Revenge of the Fallen, it's like no, it's over. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate many of the Bayverse movies, but I can't say with confidence that I actively like them.
I
Passive,
agree to a
okay.
point that Michael Bay did his okay point of what he got. I love the action scenes. The story was actually good the first time. The second two time, I
Yeah,
don't know.
his-
They were kind of cringe, but the other version of the who did directed the Transformers Bumblebee movie, I give you guys props. You guys brought back the OG style of how Transformers should be
Should
like and
look,
should look
yes.
like.
Yeah, keep Michael Bay as a producer where he frickin' belongs.
But again, Michael Bay did some good stuff on his point of view with some of the action scenes. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, and they mostly kept Optimus Prime the same as he was in other things, so
Yes.
not completely bad, but yeah.
Yep. Except they did do "Give me your face," which yeah, that moment maybe not so much, but yeah. Yep. But now it is time for the patent pending Dragoness Scale, where we rank the Dragoness or dinosaur, or in this case, Dinobot. And yep, Sly's going to be interesting because I really do like the. I like the voice. Design's great. You know, just I like the. Really, I like everything about her. I can't see any real flaws. Even like the southern accent is good. The personality is a little bit forced, but then again, it's a preschool show. They kind of have to do that. And again, she is far and away, I think, like it's not like Sophia the First or Star Wars, where she's easily the best part of the episode. But she is still a very, very good part of it, and she's a great character. And I think it would be great if we saw more Transformers stuff with her in it, like actual, legitimate Transformers stuff. Her outside the confines of a preschooler show. I feel like you could do a lot of potential with her there.
And thankfully we have in the form of a Japanese comic, which is a start, I guess. And also she's part of a combiner unit. Grimlock, Slag, everyone, she's part of that Dinobot unit that form Volcanicus,
Ooh,
if I
interesting.
recall correctly.
That
So-
definitely means we might have some more to add to it. But yeah, but for her, in terms of a score, I really want to give her a perfect score. I don't know if I can. If it was like 22 minutes, I think I could probably I could find my way to a finagling on there. But for the most part, I'm going to give her a very good score of 9 out of 10 because again, she has a great design, great voice. The characteristic is good, and again, the fact that she's the first female Autobot in visual media. Let's say it this way: in like that you can actually hear her voice is a big plus. She's not the first female Autobot entirely, but she's the second, and she definitely is hopefully a good stepping stone to a lot more of them because we definitely need more female Autobots, if only to keep the podcast talking about Transformers more.
Mm,
Yeah, I will say this though. There have been other female Autobots like
I meant
Chromia.
Dinobots.
Yeah, Dinobots. Good.
I
Okay.
misspoke. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yep, 9 out of 10 is going to be my score. Angron, what would you give her?
Same, hands down. Like again, first female Dinobot, or well, not first female Dinobot, but first female Dinobot in visual media. Everything is definitely going in her favor for me on this one. She's basically the whole package. The only thing really holding her back is the fact that her personalities can somewhat be a little off sometimes. That and we don't really see her bot form in this, which fair enough. She's a Dinobot, and Dinobots do what Dinobots do best. But yeah, it would have been nice to see at least one of that. Still, though, absolutely 9 out of 10. She's not perfect, but she deserves that much.
All good. Except 9 out of 10 here. Okay. Let's see who would be next. Math, what would you give her?
I'm actually going just slightly lower than you guys at an
Okay.
8. The same reason that you guys said for one of the points is that because this is a preschool show, they kind of had to hammer in the lesson, and I feel like that kind of affected her personality a little bit. The characterization we got beyond just the I need to be this lone wolf for the plot of the moral lesson of the day was really good. Really like that. The design top notch. The animation style in this looks really good, but then I'm also judging that on sort of a preschool show level, and anything that looks better than Coco Melon is good in my book.
Yeah.
Or she'll be at the first.
Yeah, or that too. But yeah, I just want to say this right now. We are never, or if we have to, we have to, but we are not doing anything Coco Melon related for a long time.
Yeah,
It was purposely
that noise.
placed on the farthest on the list.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
that would be like
absolutely.
that'd definitely be like one of the last things we do.
My sanity
Sure,
thing.
sure, sure. All good.
It's definitely
Let's
up
see.
there with the Jungle Book
So, yeah.
reboot.
Yeah, that too. But let's see who's next.
It would have been a 9 just at that, but because I am this old hat Transformers fan, the voice is what kind of brings it down to the 8. I'm not saying that it's bad or that it's done poorly. It's actually pretty well done in the voice actress. For her being a Broadway actress, she's actually got a good presence as a voice actress. It's just hearing a southern twang from a Transformer or a Dinobot is just a little bit odd to me, and I think that it's a case of if I watched this entire series and gotten used to it, this wouldn't have affected me as much. But because I'm just going in blind, this is one of those things that it just feels a little bit weird in the moment.
Yeah, I definitely can see where you're coming from there, but still, 8 out of 10 is a really good score for her, and let's see if we can keep the high train going. Stryker, what would you give her?
Yeah, I think I'll give her an 8. I thought she was great.
Huh. Not a 9, eh? Okay.
Any particular reason?
Honestly, you know what? No, I'm giving her a 9 because I like her that much.
Oh, really?
I thought her personality and the southern accent just gave her more character. usually kids shows make. I've noticed a lot of kids shows have some of the same character, some of the most basic characters. This just adds character.
Huh.
Makes it
Okay, so-
stand out, I guess.
I see. So change yours a 9 out of 10. And, I definitely can see that. Why? Especially because, again, she's such a well-written character for what she represents in that. Let's see if we can keep that train going. Shark, what would you give her?
Yeah, I'll keeping the 9 out of 10 train going. Because I don't like a lot about her. For example, the voice doesn't bother me. The fact that we never see her butt fun doesn't bother me. And all of the positives that have been said, I really enjoy it. I think the only thing that kind of bothers me is I mostly like her personality, but because of the moral, the whole, we work great together, they kind of have her be a jerk in some moments, even though there's like no necessity for it. But hey, we have to remind kids that being a jerk ain't cool, so make her act a little bit, make her here be a jerk to our protagonist, so kids realize that it's not cool. But outside of those small moments, no, I like her a lot. So 9 out of 10.
Yep, I definitely say it. And again, the one moment that feels out of place for me is the part where she basically tackles Whirl. That feels a little bit out of place. Like, you could easily have had her, like, trick her on the brainstorm, but to outright tackle her, it's a little bit off. But again, like you said, it's definitely to get the message to the kids that being a jerk isn't cool. And it's a message that's definitely needed now more than ever. But now let's see, Jordan, what would you give her?
I didn't watch a lot of the Rescue Bots a lot. I mean, I watched a little bit of it, but not a whole lot. I'm gonna just stick with the 9, 10.
Oh, okay. Still pretty good. Wow, so yeah, Slash actually got one of the higher overall scores, and I'm kind of surprised to see that,
Absolutely.
She definitely deserves it, and if anyone from Hasbro is watching this, please put her in another Transformers TV show. We are begging you for that.
Yes.
Yep. But that's going to be it for this week's episode. If you have any questions, or if you want to tell us what other Dinobots you think should be made female, yep, you can email us at fierydiscourse@outlook.com. Visit us on twitter.com/fierydiscourse. Visit us on Blue Sky at fierydiscourse@bluesky. Be sure to subscribe to the Ludmillanon YouTube channel and subscribe to the playlist. Hit the bell icon, and any and all comments are needed. Also, one of our co-hosts, Lucky Evie, is currently looking to get to a group home in the UK. That will be posted in the description for anyone who wants to help him out. Any and all assistance is appreciated.
Yep,
Next week, we're going to be talking about something something a little older, but not by much, as we're going to be talking about the 2015 Adventures of Puss in Boots episode, Dragon. Now, unfortunately, I have to stop you guys right here. It is not Dragon from Shrek. That would have made this show an automatic 10 out of 10, but it is not her.
It's still a Dragoness, so
Oh.
we're counting it.
Yep. Kind of a shame. But it's one of those non-canonical shows that they did a lot. They did that with Penguins of Madagascar and with Kung Fu Panda as well. It's all set in its own canonical universe. And it'll definitely be interesting to talk about it, especially considering that Shrek's going to have a comeback soon. And, definitely be interested to see if anything from that or from his spin-off series will come into play there.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the Donkey and Dragons miniseries if it ever does come out.
And I hope it does. It'd be great. More stuff for us.
Cowards, DreamWorks. Don't be cowards.
I hope they're not. So that'll be it for this week. And until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.
Tell all our one.
Perfect way to end it.
Yep.
Yep.
Peace out.
Adios. See you guys next week.